go into main view. All right, now we're pre-show. Now I'll keep ranting. So, guys, I had a little rant saved up because I'm sure many of you know my boss, 2.5 months ago, passed away. And after he did, I essentially became the acting general manager for my store. So I, of course, put in for the position to actually get the job of GM. And of course, I knew other people were going to apply. I was not chosen, unfortunately. And this is an outcome I could have lived with. Like, it's you know, you don't win everything. It's a corporate environment. There's lots of cutthroat bullshit. My company brags about being 75% female management, which, you know, I guess that's cool and progressive, but it's also, it's like 75%. That should be a little more even, in my opinion, but that's okay. We're not going to have that conversation.
That's not a coin toss.
No, that's not a coin toss. Like, that's a decision, essentially. Like, yeah, we did this, and it's just like, you can do that. You can say that. Like, you can boast about. Okay, whatever. So, this woman who was picked, who, to her credit, you know, she does have management skills. She's not an idiot by any means. First of all, has been friends with my district manager for at least 10 years. And they're pretty close. They're good friends. She initially didn't even put in for the position. She was persuaded by my district manager to apply for it and only did so 7 days after I already had my first interview. Okay, that's whatever. So she does. She has one interview. I had 2 interviews. She had 1. Which is, you know, I don't control any of this. And then when she gets offered the job, she's actually surprised. And her boss, a general manager in a different store, was also surprised because, like I said, she has all of these health problems, which, again, not under her control. You don't control having lupus. You don't control having all these other issues. It's not her fault. I'm not holding this against her.
Wait, is this like the One House episode where it's actually lupus?
It is lupus this time. Like, it's lupus.
Oh.
It's lupus. Again, that's not her fault, and I'm not holding that against her. But she's going to be out next week for surgery. That's the first thing she tells us Monday morning, which is the busiest week before Mother's Day because it's the week before Mother's Day, and we're open extended hours, and we're already understaffed. And the first thing our district manager says when she introduces her is that, oh, you're finally going to have somebody in the store to help you out. Except we're not when we actually really need it. So that's great. Yep. Again, not my new boss's fault, really, because even she was just like, well, I wasn't even really sure if I could do the job, and I was surprised, and I kind of felt pressured into taking it. And it seems like, regardless of who was actually applying, our district manager wanted this individual to be the general manager of this store. It was a foregone conclusion the second my boss died and the vacancy opened up that she wanted this person. She wanted to give the person this job. And again, they've been friends for over 10 years. The first thing she does when she comes in, and thankfully this doesn't apply to me but other employees, is tell everybody that the PTO that we have, that my boss approved while he was alive months ago, has to be reevaluated. In about a month, 2 of my employees are going on PTO for a week. And the conclusion that my boss has reached is that they are going to have to decide between themselves which one isn't going to get to go on vacation. They both have hotels and flights booked already. It's not refundable. And this is the answer they're being given by my company. And this is where I'm at now. After being, basically, I've had to run this store for 2.5 months. I'm told we're going to get somebody in because we need staff. This person will be out for a week at least. 75% chance she's out more than a week. And there's a non-zero chance, based on what's going on, that she might actually die on the table. She almost died last year. She had a different kind of surgery, and there was a complication, and she lost 4 liters of blood. She is 5'3".
That's about as many liters as you start with.
She is 5'3" and not overweight by any means. Lost 4 liters. 1, 2, 3, 4 liters. 4. depending on what continent you live on.
People have between 4.5 to 5.5.
Yeah. So she almost died once already. And she's going in for this surgery.
They're giving her 2 minutes, right? Yeah.
And she's taking all of these like dangerous medications that they're the kind that like have cognitive effects and affect your eyes and all of this stuff. And she tells us, oh yeah, I have a lot of doctor's appointments and stuff I'm going to be out for. And I'm just like, oh my God, okay. Again, she doesn't control any of this. But this is who our boss decided was the best person for the role. Missile Launch says, so far you have mentioned 2 women in authority. I can see the problem. See, that's another thing. Because I mentioned before I launched the pre-show, my company brags about 75% of its management being women. It openly brags about this. Which, you know what, that's fine. In an anarcho-capitalist society, if you want to have a girl boss empire business, you can do that. That's fine. But we're not in an anarcho-capitalist society. And these people are openly bragging about the fact that they made it this way. That this was a decisive choice. This wasn't chance. Like, they're proud that there's 75% female management. Okay, that's fine. But if a company came out and said that they were 75% male management and they were proud of that, they'd probably get the shit suit out of them. Like, if I'm being real, like, every female employee in that business would go to a lawyer and do a class action and they'd be like, ah, yeah, you've got some grounds here, because that's like, it's almost like they're saying they're deliberately trying to make it so that the business is 75% male managed and they're deliberately not promoting women, which here's the thing. I don't want to give too much information away, but my company has been sued before in a class action lawsuit for that issue. So I can understand why they're going to go in the opposite direction and brag about being 75% female management. But that is the problem. When you look at our district, 5 years ago, 13 stores, there was actually a decent variety of managers. When we had a male district manager, we had probably half and half male-female management. Now that we have a female district manager, for as far as the GMs go, there is now only 1 male general manager in the district out of 13 stores. There were 2. 1 resigned very recently for unknown reasons. As far as the assistant general managers go, which is my position, there were a few more guys. Majority women right now. There are 1, 2, 3. There are 3 AGMs out of 13 that are guys, myself included. And primarily, being in the jewelry business, you're going to hire more women than men. That's a fact. Like, it is what it is. It's like nursing or something like that.
That doesn't intuit to me necessarily.
Really? Like,
I would figure that, like, okay, for like designing and like the craftsman or like the crafting of it, like, yes, like the majority might be ladies that are interested in that stuff too, but
from a sales perspective,
from a sales perspective, that you mostly the person you're trying to get over the hump is like having like a guy affirm another guy that, like, yeah, you're making a great decision, like, let's do this, and stuff like that.
Guys don't necessarily think that way. Like, you're not wrong. Like, as a guy, if you're good, you're good. Like, I'm good. There is nobody in the company that will say that I am a bad salesman. You can look at my numbers. You can look at my career employment. The fact that I am an associate general manager of the store, worked my way up from an entry-level sales position in 4 years. I'm in year 5 now. Women have an advantage, especially attractive women. I'm going to be biased here and say attractive women have a bias.
Any sales job,
pretty privileged. But here's the thing. Even if they're not that attractive, do you want to know why? Oh, you want to buy this necklace for your wife? Okay, hang on. And they can try it on. And if they have a good rapport with the guest and the guest finds them attractive, they're going to think the necklace is going to look good. And they're going to buy it.
Right.
I
Like,
can't
it's
do
like
that.
everybody buys clothing
Yeah,
or, like, wants a hairstyle, and it's like, you really just want it to look like Emma Stone
exactly.
or
Exactly. Or they want like the Peaky Blinders haircut, and it's like, all right, you just really want to look like Cillian Murphy. That's what you want. Like, we can't do
that's
that for you.
not what your face is,
That's not what your
so
face is.
it's like
Exactly. It's, you know what? That's another thing. Do you remember the whole fedora craze way back in the day when that took off and everyone was like, eh? It's because everybody wanted
I
to look
still love
like
it. I love my fedoras. I have a bunch. Why? What are you talking about?
nothing, nothing. I'm going to say this doesn't apply to you, but there are people who do it because they're like, oh, Frank Sinatra looks good with a fedora. All those dudes back in the day, the Rat Pack looks great with fedoras. Yeah, it's because it's fucking Frank Sinatra. It's fucking Steve McQueen, man. Like, of course they look good. Of course they look good
You
in
also
fedoras.
have to wear a full suit with
You
it
got to wear a full
and be
suit
like
and you got to be in
and
shape.
be like cigarette skinny, you
Yeah, you
know?
got to be cigarette skinny, man. Has profits gone down in the wake of this trend? Oh, missile launch. So first of all, the economy isn't doing great that right now. So like in a shitty economy, the first thing to suffer is luxury goods. Jewelry is a luxury good. Even from a bridal perspective, it's a luxury good. So if you can believe it, people don't want to buy jewelry right now, which is shocking to me personally. But we still do okay. Like I still make decent money, but it has hurt. And like, okay, so outside of that, has it hurt the business? It absolutely has. Because there's also this kind of sense in the company, especially the past 2 years, that the company is out to trim the fat. And by trim the fat, what I mean is a lot of people who have been with the company for over 10 years, who have tried to move up in management, either past GM to district manager, or other things like that, are suddenly finding themselves fired for really weird reasons. And I can't go too much into detail about that because I feel like if you were to look at this on some level, people might go, "Oh man, okay, now all these firings," because it was kind of public, but it was also kind of touted as like, "All right, these people aren't like, they're not following company policy. There's violations, this and there." There is this one woman who had worked for the company for almost 20 years, and as far as like powerhouses go, this is one of these individuals where you could always go to them for help. They knew everything. They were nice and friendly. They were firm when they had to be. But this is like the ideal human in a corporate environment that still had a soul and didn't live every day under a heat lamp eating crickets. This is the best way I can put it. And they fired her for what basically amounted to a hearsay complaint, i.e., 4 or 5 different employees called in and said that they heard somebody say XYZ. Because they all gave a similar series of accountings of the events, the company erred on the side of caution, went zero tolerance, and fired her. That store still has not recovered from that. They have new management, but their sales have not been great. Immediately after, the associate general manager, who was one of the complainants, didn't get the general manager job, transferred out of the district. So they lost both of their managers when I would say like a 3-month period of time. So also, this individual that got promoted to vice president of my company, who directly oversees my region, which is like 3 or 4 different districts in the country. So like I would say probably 30 to 50 different stores. Nobody likes her because she's been in the company forever and she's dumb, but she's also not dumb enough to get fired. But it's gotten to the point where nobody left in the company who disliked her enough to know that she wasn't management fit. They've all left, so there's nobody else to tell her no or stop her. And she's finally gotten up into VP area. And now it's time to settle grudges, baby. Oh, yeah. Out to prove all these years she was passed over for promotion, that she was the one who should have been there all along. And oh my God, what has resulted is micromanagement, which is another reason why I think this woman who is now my boss was picked. She is a micromanager, and I cannot stand it. And so because of all of
I'm
these
very much
things,
of the Prussian philosophy,
which is
which is the more removed you are from the action, the less specific you should be.
exactly.
And there you think about like Prussian German military being like very strict discipline, but at the same time, like they expected initiative from each,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
rank up and down. That's, I mean, what's got adopted across most Western militaries at this point and stuff like that. But yeah, it's
Mm-hmm.
just the further removed you are from it, the less specific your direction should be about it.
But
Like,
they've got their corporate checkbook, or their checklist, excuse me, and they've sent this
yeah,
woman in essentially with like a scythe, and they're just like, have at it. And we're already grossly understaffed, so it's not like we can really afford to lose anybody else. But both of my employees who have that PTO that I was talking about that she's taking a wrecking ball to are probably going to quit also if they don't get to take their PTO. And quite frankly, I don't blame them, because that's a shitty move. The first thing you do when you come in is you start taking an axe to PTO that was established weeks, if not months ago, because the company dragged its feet in picking a general manager, and it dragging its feet in approving a new hire, and dragging its feet. Well, you got to get people hired in there. You got to do it. You got to do it. And it's just like, you need to give us something to work with. You need to. And there's another store that's kind of close to us whose general manager promised us help. And now that my general manager is in place and she's asking for the help, she's kind of like, oh, well, we'll see. And it's just like, okay, so if this is a you're not true to your word kind of thing, or you don't like my general manager, and that's why you don't want to help. Because if I have also been given a general manager that nobody actually likes for various reasons, which I guess I'll find out why soon enough, why am I going to stay here? like I want out. And also, to be very frank, I find the entire thing a massive slap in the face to me professionally. And I also see it as just blatant cronyism. Like, before anybody applied, before the position was open, my district manager was ready to give this store to this woman. And that was it. And then as soon as she applied, she had it, basically. Like, there was nothing anybody could do. So that's where I'm at right now. Like, I'm still employed. Nothing's really changed other than I didn't get the job. And literally everyone is telling me I need to quit. Even the people I work with are like, yeah, dude, this is bullshit. I would quit. I'm like, yeah, man. Like, I can't just quit. Like, I have to be a responsible adult and line up another job first. But it's sad that this is how my career in jewelry is probably going to end if I don't wind up going to some other kind of jewelry store, which might happen if the right management position's open and I can get into it, sure. But I got to make sure it's the right move. But that's the latter half of the show description tonight, guys. This is me complaining about work, and that's what the deal is, and that's the situation, and I got to deal with it. At the end of the day, I know I'm going to be okay. Like, A, I got Jesus in my corner, and B, I have a lot of people on the mortal realm who've reached out to help. I've got people looking for jobs for me. I have an individual who is best friends with my former boss, and him and I are kind of homies, and he's got a hookup with the owner of a local jewelry company that has like 6 or 7 branches in my immediate area, and they have general manager positions opening up soon, apparently. I've got other people who are like, hey, I work in HR. Let me review your resume. I got other people like, hey, I'm going to go talk to a friend of mine who runs a jewelry store. He's going to see what kind of openings he has. So I've got lots of help. I'm going to be okay. But like, this just sucks, man. Like, I just bought a fucking motorcycle helmet, and I was looking at motorcycles, and now it's going to have to wait.
yeah, I, I I think it's like one of those things where if I ever lost my, or if like somehow I lost my job,
Mm-hmm.
I would be pressed to find something that really ticked all the boxes the same way. Like,
Yeah.
obviously I could do stuff like, and I have side gigs already because like my actual job doesn't really pay enough to do all the things I need to do in the next, you know,
Yeah.
whatever
Mm-hmm.
period of time.
Yeah.
But the yeah, I cringe for like the kids younger than us that just like literally don't even have like foots in the door or like work experience that they can like, bounce off of and talk about. And they're just coming out of college or whatever
Mm-hmm.
with just like a resume and maybe some like intern volunteer experience here and there, and entry level jobs just don't exist at this point.
Thanks, Obama. Gig
thanks, Sam
economy, bro.
Altman.
That too, Sam Altman. But like,
yeah, I would say like from like a white collar perspective, like of like if you're gonna try and get an entry level job in like programming or marketing or accounting or anything like that, like those are just getting like completely hosed. They just won't exist in the next few years, and they're not hiring any new people in them because they know they're phasing out all those positions.
Yeah. Unless, of course, they can get some cheap H-1Bs in certain spots. Then they might hire for it.
Well, that's the thing. Like, you have to know somebody at this point. Like, we've returned to like this quasi feudal guild system of just like you got to know someone.
Yeah,
I mean, even that's how I got my job. Like,
that's probably how I'm going to get my next one. Like, I also, unfortunately, have. It kind of feels like I'm accepting the mark of the beast in a way, but I downloaded LinkedIn, and I'm making a LinkedIn for myself. And in the 18 years I've been professionally, in the workforce, I've never needed a fucking LinkedIn. And like, I really would like to not have to have LinkedIn, but at this point, if it could help, oh well.
I unfortunately, LinkedIn, it does help for just a little bit of networking.
It does, yeah.
So I was like, even if you have a job and you're not looking for a job, like it's just kind of like the default professional place to network versus like a Facebook or Instagram or whatever, something like that.
I was going to do my networking on 4chan. Actually, I figured that'd be a good career move.
Just a little more curated, but honestly, like 4chan, you're hanging out with a bunch of top level intelligence, basically, all across the board. Chinese, Russian, Israeli.
Hey, I got passed over on a promotion because I'm not a woman, guys. What do you think about this? Here's the thing. It's so... I'm going to play the intro in a sec before I finish my cheesy gordita crunch here. But it's so hard to prove bias that way. Like I get it. And it is a serious accusation, but like I don't know how to look at this situation from any way other than cronyism. I just don't. Maybe not necessarily, like I can't necessarily prove like discrimination on the basis of gender. There's a lot of circumstantial evidence for that. Again and again, my company brags about being 75% female, But like, good luck on me proving that shit, man. Like, unfortunately, the resources for guys are just not there. I'm not saying they're not there at all completely, but like, they're not there in the same way that they are for women. And again, I'm not saying that also doesn't happen, but like, it just feels like we've had our hand on one side of the scale for too long. And like, clearly when we're like, all right, now we're 75% female management, it's like, okay, hey, how about we get back up to here? Where, all right, let's say there are more women in management than men, but it's like 55%, 60%. That's a little more like shit just happens. 75%, our hands on the scale. But we just got to not have our hand on the scale, and that's fair.
Well, I think we're already at the point that like women are graduating more college degrees than men, and actually have a higher employment rate than
that's true.
At this point.
I saw something recently that more women
uprising is among us. So, anyways, play the intro.
We'll do the intro and we'll get into it. Yeah. Here we go. Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 210 of the Anti-Happening podcast. I apologize we didn't do the intro a little earlier. Just ranting about life, ranting about work. I am still blessed to, be employed, and thankfully my company right now is like, hey, we like you and we need you. So I'm not really concerned about actually like losing my job. I just don't want to work here anymore. But that's what it is. It is what it is. And they don't think it be like it is, but it do. But moving on to world events. Did you hear they caught a black man with a gun in Washington, D.C. over the weekend?
That's incredible. I thought the National Guard was on top of that
I
stuff.
thought the National Guard was on top of that shit too, and I thought like the Secret Service, would like, do their job and screen and just check the closet and just check to see if there had been some like crazy California teacher who's half black and definitely a little fruity looking, was hiding in the fucking closet for God knows how long, waiting to ambush the president. At least that's what the official story is, I guess, or is going to come out.
I didn't even dive into the details, and I just thought it was hilarious that, like, you've got unsecured check-in at the hotel, but that like is hosting this presidential event, whatever, that's got Secret Service security for like their primary entrance, but at the same time, like it's just also like a normal hotel. So like, it would be, I know it's DC, but like technically it is legal under FOPA to like, have a firearm while in transit from A to B or whatever. So like they wouldn't even really necessarily check for that. Plus, it's not on the hotel necessarily to do that in the first place. But
exactly.
Yeah, I love all the conspiracy theories about like, well, this is just staged so that they can do the
ballroom.
The ballroom. And it's like they were gonna do that, I think, either way, but definitely makes it like a little more prescient, I guess. But I think we're getting into I've long been comparing like the collapse of like competent statehood across the West to that of the like Roman Empire. And it's like, oh, okay, so we've got our major war with the Sassanids, and then we're like really considering if we need to limit the grain dole out to the peasants, the what did they call them? The plebes,
the proles,
and then
the plebs. Yeah,
the
plebes.
The vested land class like has a death grip on the Senate and is using the value of their estates to basically extract everything they can from the economy, like the Optimates are.
I was about to say, it seems like that's that time period, the Roman Civil War. So it was the Optimates,
and on top of that, like now our Praetorian Guard has just become completely like aloof.
Yeah.
And the thing is like people also had this conspiracy where it was like, oh, JD Vance got off the stage or was taken off the stage faster than Trump.
And it's like, that's actually,
so maybe there was a little favoritism going on there. And I think part of it's just like JD Vance is like half of Trump's age.
Yeah, he's easier to move.
Not fat and old and just can actually walk somewhere on a moment's notice.
Also, in these kinds of situations, like obviously they do want to get the president out, but like, for example, in the event of a nuclear strike, usually the president doesn't go to a bunker. The vice president goes to a bunker. The president's job is to stay on air long enough to make people not panic as the nukes are raining down.
Yeah, I wonder who the designated survivor was, because it's like you had SecDef, you had the Secretary of Health, you had the vice president and the president, and I presume like a lot of like other cabinet members / members of like the Speaker of the House might have been there. I'm not sure. And so it's like, who's the designated survivor for this event? Like, if it really went down, that like
Mark Rubio, of course.
Well, actually, that's the thing. But like they all get back to like the White House, right? And they're all like, gathered around looking at their shit. Like it's and yeah, Kash Patel from the FBI. I just thought it was so funny.
I love the videos of the reporters like stealing the bottles of wine off the tables.
You know what? People are giving them shit for it. I'm like, what?
Why not, dude? You almost just died, possibly. Like, wouldn't you want a drink? Shit, man. Also, I love there's
it's all paid for. Like, what are they gonna do?
There's a meme I gotta find. A woman who was in attendance there too, like took a selfie, and she's like, "Thank you, Secret Service," or something like that, and she's like duck slipping it. Or duck lipping it, excuse me, duck slipping it. Can't talk. Where is it? Where is it?
I know there was one where they're like crouching under the table, and they took a selfie still, like active shooter event at the White House, press secretary or what is it, press corps? Yeah, that's what it is.
Yeah.
Banquet.
All right, here we go.
And
let me. This is that textbook, you know, that meme where it shows like men and women photographing things, men and women, and like the women are like standing in front of it. There we go.
Yeah, that's the meme. That's the meme right there. That honestly, without context, it kind of just looks like she's just taking a glam selfie. Like that looks like nobody's got a gun or anything. It's
exactly.
people in Texas in ballroom attire, you know.
Yeah, like also, I should correct myself. She's not necessarily taking a selfie with the Secret Service. Like I did think that, but no, it's just some people.
Just at a glance, it looks like she probably took that before anything happened, because like everybody's just kind of chilling. It looks like,
but it's like a high speed photo though, because everything's kind of like blurred a little bit, which is probably just from her hand movement. But it's like, oh, we're moving fast because it was just shooting.
I kind of. Honestly, that is an aesthetic. Like, it just have like one thing in focus and everything moving behind you.
It's very.
There's an art to it.
There is an art to it. Yeah, it's very very Bourne ultimatum of her. Honestly.
Yeah, there's a million movie covers.
Yeah,
like posters that are like that.
We also immediately after the shooting, we had John Fetterman, everyone's favorite hand puppet, came out and like it was like this is even though I am a Democrat, I'm saying we need the ballroom, and it's just like, oh man, they really are staging this for the ballroom. And of course, what my friends group has basically been talking about is they've got several photos of like the response teams that came in during the event, and like there were Secret Service dudes like taking MP7s out of backpacks, and everyone's like, oh, clearly this is just H&K advertising for the new SP7, the civilian model of the MP7 that's coming out soon.
Yeah, right. Are we even gonna get fucking like 4.6 in the States? Like, how titanium is that?
Speaking of ammunition, I need to go find this, but friend of the show, even though he's never been on the show and he's a friend of mine, and you might have heard him, Tendy Defender, posted something that I'm very much a fan of. Now, obviously, we're not friends of the ATF here, but where is it? So a lot of the restrictions that the Biden administration placed on imports, especially, so ammunition imports and parts imports, are being lifted, which means the market for 7.62 by 3.9 suddenly got a lot better. And the market for AKs suddenly got a lot better. There's going to be no problem, really, importing those to the country.
What's being lifted?
So, hang on. So, there's the Biden personal brace. So, there's a list of 20. Oh, here it is. Remove the list of former Soviet countries from which ATF currently denies applications to permanently import most firearms and ammunition, retaining only the Russian Federation. So, all former Soviet countries were blacklisted from exporting anything to the U.S., firearms or ammunition.
Well, we could get Polish. We could get NATO.
Polish. We can get Romanian. We can get. Oh man, was Finland ever actually in the Soviet Union? They resisted. I don't think they were, right?
No, they were never in the Soviet Union.
Okay, good for them.
They fought 2 wars.
Yeah, they fought 2 wars.
Now they're in NATO too.
Oh hell yeah, good for them. So yeah, you've got. I mean, here's the thing. Outside of Poland and like Ukraine, when Ukraine isn't in the middle of a war, I mean, there's Romania. Romanian Wassers were okay.
We could get the Yugo ones, right?
We could get the Yugos, yeah.
Like, yeah, I mean, the Russian ones, when like Kalashnikov arms got cut off, and then they tried to set up like a satellite shell company in the U.S. for manufacturing,
which went under recently.
Too expensive. Yeah,
it was too expensive. So they had done it before, and I think actually it was like the issues with banning all imports from former Soviet countries that really like hurt them, because it just made everything so much more expensive. Their logistical chains were so stressed.
If you are manufacturing what is nominally the most produced already firearm on Earth, like you can keep it competitive by having I mean, car companies do the same thing where like, oh, we're going to spread out the labor costs to like all these cheap places. And then the principal component, like the receiver or the barrel, is going to get manufactured in the States.
Ooh, excuse me.
And then it's going to
Honorable
get assembled.
Death Gelada honorable mention to Hungary in the AMD 65. I completely forgot about that. But so that's something to look forward to. Like 7.62 might be okay to shoot again, and not prohibitively expensive. I was looking up subsonic 7.62, so 196 grain brown bear stuff. It's about 500 rounds right now, goes for about $800. Which, it's subsonic.
Yeah, that's not great.
No.
Yeah, that's subsonic, but I think at a certain point you got to look into loading for subsonic yourself, because you're paying a premium for less product. Like you're just paying extra to have less gunpowder put in the same bullet.
Subsonic ammunition.
They have a bigger, like a heavier bullet weight.
They do, but there's that. But I mean, there's just less. There's less powder.
East German. I mean, nominally there weren't a lot of genuine East German imports.
The only company,
US, like we got surplus stuff.
The only company I can really think of that was either East or West German was the Anschutz company, which is still around. But even though East Germany, was a former Soviet state, it was folded back into Germany, which was not a former Soviet state, and Germany has no issues exporting firearms to the US when they want to, because H&K is a bunch of greedy bitches. Walther, Steyr, Austrian. That's true. Yeah, but no, Walther. Yeah, Walther for sure.
The Sauer division, Sauer and Sons division,
true.
Of SIG was German, and who else was in there? I mean, HK had a great handgun export business all throughout that period of time, and I mean, they just like literally, because they're German, they just like don't understand like the American market, and so they were like, oh, we never thought like American customers would ever want like a semi-auto MP5 or a semi-auto G3. Like what's like, oh, we made some semi-auto variants for like the National Guard at some point, and then like they find out, like they've done zero market research, and they find out like those go for like $5,000 in the States. And then
they're like,
oh, maybe we should do that.
Yeah. So one company also we should mention, Mauser.
Dude, what does Mauser even make?
They still make some.
Mauser got folded into H&K.
Hang on, let me see. Mauser after the war. Company. I could be wrong. Let me see.
And Haenel, but Haenel's just small. It's like Haenel's focuses on like big goods, like autocannons for tanks and APCs and stuff.
Okay, so
they have the rifle contract for the Bundeswehr.
I think that you're right about them getting folded into H&K. I'm trying to look through their Wikipedia right now. The original Mauser company went defunct in 2004. Oh, hang on. So it wasn't folded into H&K. It was folded into Mauser Jagdwaffen, which is basically the civilian outfit for Mauser. So that's what gets exported to the U.S. And then you have the Rheinmetall Waffle Munition Gewehrfabrik, so they do the military weapons. They're a big thing. I mean, they produce the Leopard 2, all that shit. But so now it's Mauser Jagdwaffen Gewehrfabrik. Originally, Mauser was the Königliche Württembergische, I fucked that up, Gewehrfabrik. I'm so good at German names, but I'm just so exhausted from life. Yeah, things happen. Mauser, but yeah, so 7.62. Back to that, might be a little bit better to be shooting now. Like obviously, nothing's going to be pre-COVID or where it was a couple years ago.
Here's the thing, like isn't like it got to the point like 300 black and 7.62 by 39 were about consummate, right?
Sorry, say that one more time.
Well, I was saying that the price between like 300 blackout
And 7.62.
and 7.62
Yeah.
by 39, which are the supersonic versions of each are basically identical.
Basically. 300
So
blackout is
here we
just
have 300 blackouts,
gentrified 7.62.
145 grain full metal jacket, $600 for 1,000 rounds, and 7.62 by 39 from Privy Partisan, 930 rounds for 570. So
yeah,
pretty close.
Pretty close.
Within a few cents of each other per. And that Privy Partisan is going to be a 123 grain. So a little lighter. Honestly, like 7.62 by 39 as a cartridge, like it exists because it exists. It has just been so popular since 1945.
So this is interesting. So one other thing too. So you know how right now, if you already had a serialized firearm that like an AR pistol that you wanted to turn into an SBR, so you wanted to file an NFA stamp for that. You know how you initially had to get it engraved.
Yeah.
Don't have to do that anymore.
Really?
Okay. Really? Yep.
Cool. Yeah, actually, I was at the sheriff's and like doing some other paperwork, and a couple months ago, which I'm still waiting for them to get my conceal handgun permit to me. I think we're like very close to the statutory limit of how many days they have to like issue it. And I haven't heard anything yet, so we'll see.
Interesting.
Anyways, yeah, I would assume they would tell me one way or another, right? Like it would be.
Well, maybe they're just trying to
work out.
They're just trying to get a SWAT team ready because not only were they going to deny you, they found something a little specific that you hadn't told anybody about. So
yeah, I guess sure, but no, they always wait till the last day to do it. I just forget if it's 45 or 60 days or whatever. But yeah, I just I was there and I was like, oh, so like there's new rules about suppressors and SBRs and stuff like that. And like, oh yeah, so we can do your prints and stuff, and you only need like this many copies versus before. But I hadn't heard about the engraving rule, which is also like a huge pain in the ass.
Here's the thing, like I have enough friends that can do engraving, and like there's enough places around here that can do it, but it's just the fact that I have to do that. It was just like, oh man, I don't want to have to get it engraved. But like it's cool. It's just filing paperwork, and it's whatever. Like again, I still say, just don't. Excuse me. At this point, it's a waiting game. Because if there's no fee you have to pay.
The silencer Mageddon that we were speculating on, I don't know that it came to pass as much as we thought it did.
There was a little bit of a backlog as far as orders go, but like the companies were ramping up production. And not everybody has like that much money to drop on a gun accessory just on a whim.
Yeah. Unless you were thinking about it like way ahead of time. But again, maybe it's kind of a luxury and the economy's like not perfect. So
what are you saying? Luxury goods right now aren't doing well? Didn't we just I don't think we talked about this before.
So it's speaking of luxury goods, I kind of remember reading somewhere that like we're about 10 days out from there just being no gasoline left in Australia.
Yeah, I didn't post it, but I sent you the Mad Max clip. Yeah, so this was actually, I want to say this was actually like a week ago they actually came out with this, but Australia is like 10 to 14 days away, maybe less now, from really just starting to run out of natural gas and oil and gasoline in general. So Mad Max is about to become a thing in Australia. That's kind of cool. It's something to look forward to. But this all has to do with the Hormuzituation ship that's still going on. And there was actually something else. It wasn't really... I mean, it was a gas, I believe. No, yeah, ethane. Yeah, ethane is a gas. You know how ethane is actually like a major component as far as plastic production goes? I don't know if you knew this or not.
Oh yeah, and that's the main thing. Like even if you were like everybody's suddenly got electric cars, or we'd all been driving electric cars anyways.
Mm,
Every piece of plastic, every pharmaceutical, every precursor product and chemical for fertilizer or for um, various chemical processes that make
mm,
whatever it might be paint. Um, it could be, asphalt itself for the roads. It could be tires. Everything like that is all derived from petroleum. So
mm,
even if you eliminated the demand on petroleum for just like transportation, like physical like fuel for gasoline and helicopter fuel and jets
mm.
and stuff like that. I don't even I'm not sure that it's even half of what like crude oil gets used for
Yeah.
when it gets
So
shipped out places.
if you had to guess right now, who would you say is the largest producer of plastic products in the world?
China?
Correct. China,
Yep.
therefore, is the largest consumer of ethane gas.
Hmm.
Where do you think China is now buying all of its ethane gas?
Well, I thought up until now that it was about, or well, at least on the margin, 90% of Iran's exports were going to China
Hmm.
alone.
This
That's
is
kind of
true.
because of sanctions. They didn't have many other markets to ship it to.
Hmm.
Um, but where would I mean Russia, right? Like
Close, not close. I mean, they do have a border they share together.
Kazakhstan, Mongolia.
No, no, no. So this is a Zero Hedge article that was posted Monday, April 20th. China is now importing a
Venezuela.
record amount of ethane from the United States.
Oh,
Hmm.
how generous of us.
Yes. There's another thing I actually sent you on Instagram. Did you see that little thing about the United Arab Emirates?
Ooh, I think I'm did, but I'm not
No, you're
remembering it
okay.
right now.
So the UAE is leaving OPEC.
Oh, that's right. That's right. That's right.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
which
yeah.
you called to a certain extent. You were talking about all of these countries like the United Arab Emirates and Saudi Arabia that were all part of the Abraham Accord, which they're not necessarily leaving the Abraham Accord, but the United Arab Emirates leaving OPEC is a huge development. Like
Hmm.
that's not a small happening. And all of a sudden, like this is not me giving the 5D chess meme any credence. I'm not saying this is necessarily a good thing, but if the idea was to keep that area of the world fucked up long enough that countries would have to either start, going to the US for its natural gas and oil supplies or existing monopolies, whatever you want to call them, cartels, commonwealths involving oil and natural gas are all of a sudden going to get broken up, and you even have OPEC starting to like United Arab Emirates is leaving. I think Qatar left in like I don't know. I want to say it was before COVID. I remember seeing that Qatar had left OPEC as well. And it's just like as this continues to go on, what if OPEC goes under? What if all of a sudden like the United States really starts I don't know. Like cuz the alternative to countries going to the United States and if they can't go to Venezuela and they can't go to Iran, you have Russia which they can do right now. Russia sells it to somebody else, who sells it to somebody else, who sells it to Germany, or sells it to China, or sells it to other countries that might not be like consuming Russian oil right now in solidarity with Ukraine. But if you pass it through a couple of middlemen, then all of a sudden, you can get around regulations easy enough.
Hmm. Well, I mean, technically, like Venezuela's an OPEC member, and so is
Okay.
Mexico and Brazil,
Hmm.
and you could easily see just this. I mean, is Venezuela really an OPEC member right now? Like, are they
Mm,
behaving as such?
mm,
They're not even really sovereign in a sense.
about to say
So
they're kind of like Puerto Rico at the moment, just not really, not officially.
well, it's like, what if there was like some wild like reverse Uno card where we went from what if they're like, okay, actually we're going to strengthen OPEC. The US and Canada are joining. And
Hmm.
we're gonna have Russia join NATO.
Hmm.
Like some topsy turvy world like that. I'm not
Dude,
saying that's gonna happen.
that's like the plot of a Tom Clancy novel. I think it was. Oh
It
no, it
is.
was. Yeah, no, you're right. It was The Bear and the Dragon. That's right. Russia joins NATO. That's right.
Yeah, so that they can team up on China or something like that.
So
Yeah.
I guess Tom Clancy right now is like he's sitting on a throne underneath the Pentagon, and there's just like it's like his corpse essentially, but it's all of this wires and doohickeys coming out of him. And the only competent members of the Secret Service are actually tasked with guarding his corpse on his throne. And that him being there is actually how all foreign policy decisions are determined in the U.S. government. Is you have the big T up there, and you've got his
Tom Clancy's one of those tech priests that gets wired into the mainframe and like it imbues the AI with like some level of thinking power.
mm-hmm.
That it's what they divine everything from.
One of my favorite stories about Tom Clancy is I don't remember what book it was, but he was describing the interior of a top secret class or like a prototype class of like US naval destroyer that was about to be released and was coming out, but it was still classified. And this gentleman I don't think has ever actually been in the military, but he was describing the layout of the ship so accurately that like they actually brought him in for questioning. And they're like, "How did you figure this out?" And he goes, "Honestly, it just made the most sense, like based on how other ships are laid out and my own knowledge of it. Like it just made the most technical sense that you would do it that way." And that's what I assumed. And they were just like, "Oh, you're just really autistic. Okay, that's impressive." Which is like that's one of the things about Tom Clancy's books and Tom Clancy anything is that there has to be a certain degree of like real life military technical accuracy that if you you don't get to call yourself like a member of the Tom Clancy lineage, I guess you could call
Well,
it.
no, that was his things. He was like, I mean, it kind of comes originally from Fleming and like
Mm-hmm.
the Bond books,
Mm-hmm.
right? Is that he was very actually meticulous about like details, and it was only in the movies that they started to like abandon some of the realism and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
And they just started making up plots as they went on. They were like, oh, we really want to cash in on the space craze, so we're going to have James Bond use a space shuttle and fight laser battles on Earth orbit and stuff like that.
Oh man, the Caribbean is
um
so hot right now. We're gonna have James Bond and scuba gear half the movie, and he's gonna have an underwater
yep.
dart fight with enemies, and it's gonna be super cool, and everyone's gonna be all fit and shit in like speedos and bikinis and all of this, and it's just like, yeah. And then Japan, oh
Well,
Japan's crazy. Bond goes to Japan.
like the Timothy Dalton one where he's in the Caribbean and he's fighting with the cocaine smuggling thing. Like it came out like a year after or 2 years after Scarface. They're like, "Oh, we have to do this like Vice Caribbean like cocaine plot." They're
Was
always
that?
just chasing whatever was popular.
Mm-hmm. And then you had let's think about like the more recent Daniel Craig James Bond ones. Oh geez.
Well, for those they went back to like Casino Royale was like pretty faithful adaptation of like the original Bond book, which was Casino
True.
Royale.
True.
But then from there they were like, oh, we definitely like don't feel comfortable like having Bond like just left and right like trying to foil Islamic terror plots. So we're gonna make up this like all these terror organizations are funded by these wealthy Western capitalists actually, which is true in a sense, but it's actually the CIA. Actually, in one of the movies, they do call out that like the CIA is like handling a lot of these people
Mm-hmm.
that are actually committing the terror. I think it's Quantum of Solace, the
You're
one
right. I think it's
in
quite
South America.
yeah, because he meets with the CIA agent in the bar, and the CIA agent
Yeah,
like is like, yeah, this is actually a little closer to home. Sorry, man. I could picture the actor. I can't think of his name, but
he's the guy. He was so good in Westworld, at least the first season.
oh
That's
yeah,
the
he
only
was.
season I saw.
That's the same, but
Um,
he was fantastic in that. Like, he's a great actor. But
yeah,
here's the thing.
But well, he wasn't betraying Bond. He got put up by John Harper, or like the sheriff from Stranger Things, which I did not realize was in that movie until I watched it like a week or two ago.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, he is
David Harbour.
Married. David Harbour, yes.
Yeah.
He was married to the one singer lady.
And then cheated on her, apparently.
Yeah, cheated on her, and she wrote a whole album about it.
Ooh.
And it's hilarious because it's like, you're just gonna go to your pussy palace. Because basically he's like, oh babe, I want an open relationship while you're doing this like extended job in like London, and I'm gonna be in the States, and I'm just
I'm a movie star, gross. And I want to. Yeah, that's disgusting. That's really disappointing.
Even though he wasn't really that famous.
Yeah,
like he was like a decently well employed character actor.
Yes.
Until Stranger Things,
and then
he got the Disney gig with like the Avengers spinoff.
Mm-hmm. Scooby, what do you think about the situation right now? Thank you. Yeah, I got it. Thank you. You said that the first time. So actually, I feel like we've talked about James Bond a couple of times, and I wanted to throw this hot opinion out there.
I'm out of my binge of James Bond films because they got taken off Netflix. So like, I should stop bringing it up. But
no, you're good. I was watching GoldenEye the other night, and I had planned essentially to also watch. So here's the thing. I actually think the Pierce Brosnan Bond movies are a little underrated. Like, I thought he was a fantastic James Bond. I also grew up with him, so I'm biased, but like GoldenEye, come on, GoldenEye the movie, classic. GoldenEye the game.
GoldenEye the game was also great, but I would say GoldenEye the film had not yet gone over the top with like the tropes and the gags and stuff like that. And was actually a pretty level-headed. Like, that was the first one that came out after the Dalton Bonds, and they were still like pretty grounded.
Yeah.
GoldenEye's great. I love it.
My favorite one though was actually Tomorrow Never Dies.
Is that the Koreans are with the space laser, or is that no?
That is
guy who
Die Another Day. Network. Yeah, that's the media guy. That's Die Another Day. That one was okay. It was all right. Tomorrow Never Dies though there's some like basically the United States and China are about to like get into a war because there's like this secret ship that's going around and is like attacking them, and there's no they're trying to make
the UK and China.
No, you're right. It's the UK and China. My mistake. That's right. It's the UK and China.
And it was right on the heels of the handover of Hong Kong.
That's right. But there is this media conglomerate who runs a massive newspaper and does all of these other things. And his whole thing is he's always got the first scoop in all of this. And it turns out that he's actually funding all of this shit and is like trying to make incidents happen around the world so that he can report about it and make lots of money about it. So he is the one who's like,
and he's also trying to get like exclusive broadcast rights.
That too.
In like the different markets, like particularly China and so on.
But that's the thing is like Bond meets up with like a Chinese agent and they have a thing, of course, but like there's the whole stealth boat, which was cool. What else? You had, it was great. And then there was another one with, I think it was Denise Richards is her name. And it's that they steal like a Russian nuclear sub.
From Starship Troopers?
Yes, her. She's in it. She's a Bond girl. She's a nuclear scientist because I think there's somebody stealing warheads and they wanted to like blow up a nuclear submarine as like an eco-terrorist attack. And
yes.
Who else?
Yeah.
Oh, what was that one? Hang on. I gotta look this up.
Yeah, I did watch that one very recently, actually.
Yeah.
I watched it from the Dalton Bonds to the most recent one. So I started with the living it was the Living Daylights, and then License to Kill is the Caribbean one. Living Daylights is really, really good. because it's like he's just a he's doing a very classic like Cold War story where he's like trying to extract this defector from the KGB, and there's a double crossing, and it's just like a good Cold War story. Um, the world is not
The
enough.
world is not enough. That's it. That was it.
Is that the oil one?
That's the
Yes.
the
Okay.
oil one. That's the oil one. That was also pretty decent. Like it's not my favorite, but it was all right.
It's Sophie Marceau has Stockholm syndrome for the guy.
That's right. That's right. And
It's one of the more recent or like one of the biggest films to like feature that, and I feel like it's kind of like taboo to mention it even to this day, like
a
that
little bit.
it is a thing that happens, that like people fall in love with their captors and so on.
Mm-hmm. What? So that's what I was gonna say. When it comes to Daniel Craig, and I feel like we've had this discussion on this show before, or I've said this at least. I like Daniel Craig as James Bond, but he's not my favorite James Bond. And I feel like he is a little too intense for the role. Like he's
Yeah.
just a little like there's it's almost kind of the same way like actors play Batman or Bruce Wayne. Sometimes they're more Bruce Wayne, sometimes they're too Batman, and that doesn't translate well. With the exception of like Christian Bale, who's fantastic. We've had this exact conversation before,
Yep.
but with like same thing with Bond. Like there's two sides to Bond. There's like the cold, hard, tough, like secret agent killer, and then there's the suave, diplomatic ladies man, lady killer, who can woo
Well,
and
there's
chart his
James
way
Bond and
anywhere.
there's 007.
Exactly.
Yeah.
There's James Bond, and then there's 007. And Craig is a little too far into 007. And I would say Pierce Brosnan was probably a little bit too far into James Bond, but it was okay.
Actually, I would say not so. I
Really.
think Brosnan, if you rewatch him,
Mm-hmm.
he is he's really reluctant to like make connections. They're constantly talking about how he's just out there to kill people, and he's really shut off from everyone.
Mm-hmm.
Um like the like obviously Sean Connery and Roger Moore were like
More
very
James
James
Bond is.
Bond.
So you know what? Say I do
Yeah.
retract my statement because you're right. Because I'm thinking about the plot of Die Another Day now, and especially at the beginning of the movie when he's like,
Hmm.
excuse me, when he's like in the Korean prison camp for years.
Hmm.
Very
Hmm.
007. He was very far into that side. So you're right, but
Yep.
I feel like Daniel Craig is more into the 007 side of it than Pierce
No, he
Brosnan
goes
is,
all the way.
and it's just a
And
little bit too much. He's
I would say if I would go back to like Timothy Dalton doesn't get the best grips
mhm,
for, or the like the best plots for, and he only had 2 movies.
mhm,
Um but as far as balancing the characters of James Bond, the international spy slash 007, the assassin that like has to be a cold-blooded killer, like Timothy Dalton's like has that progression between
mhm,
the 2 movies, like they're back to back in that sense. Like the second one like starts with him going to his friend's wedding,
mhm,
and then he kind of has to like Rambo, or not, I shouldn't say Rambo, like he like his friend gets murdered, and then he like goes rogue and tries to get revenge basically.
mhm,
um and that's where it's like he's actually James Bond in all those moments. Like that's him as like the actual person, not just like an assassin killer. Like he's just trying. Like it was a really long movie actually for being what it is. But
mhm.
what is the runtime on License to Kill? It's 133 minutes, so like a little over 2 hours. And I feel like yeah, the first half hour or 45 minutes or so, like are this like subplot where he's like just kind of dropping in on his DEA friend's like wedding, and like they're making drug busts like as a happenstance, but he's really just a groomsman, and he's trying to have like a nice Caribbean vacation,
Mm-hmm.
and then everything goes to shit.
I haven't. Oh, man, I haven't seen
But
Licensed to Kill in
some
a long
elements of
time.
those movies do not age well, like
No.
him teaming up with the Mujahideen in Afghanistan to defeat the Russians.
No. Also, like there was the whole. I don't. Oh, is it You Only Live Twice? Is the one he goes to Japan, right? The Sean Connery one.
Yeah, I haven't seen that one since I was a kid.
That one also really doesn't age well. Just because they like, there's a lot of like, I don't know, like really bad Japanese stereotypes that get played on, and like it's pretty overtly.
Oh, I think they straight up have like yellow face. Like,
Oh yeah,
don't even hire
they
like
do.
actual Japanese actors for everything.
There are some Japanese actors, but no, there is a lot of yellow face, and they also put Bond in essentially a kind of yellow face. Like I think they kind of make him look half Japanese, so like he still looks like British, but he also looks like a half Japanese, half British
Sean
person.
Connery, like he's they gave him like the biggest spray on tan that you ever could.
Yeah.
But then he's just like unbelievably hairy. I remember the scene where he's getting like the massage.
Yeah. And there's also like there's part where like he's straight up like the place he's at, like I don't know what prostitution laws are in Japan. I don't really care to study that, but like apparently he just like offers him escorts. And he looks very surprised about it. And the guy goes, "Yes, they're very sexyful." And I'm just like, "Oh God, why would you say that?" It just doesn't age well.
Myself and many others, Twitter users, were astounded over the last couple of weeks in the Japanese cultural exchange.
I saw that. That looked wonderful.
It was very informative. People talked about barbecue.
I saw that. And ranch dressing,
all sorts of fun stuff. Coke and peanuts, I guess, is something people do. But like, yeah, you'd get these auto-translated posts, and this guy is like, "Oh, I can't wait to go to the hand job parlor. One of my favorite girls with like the biggest tits is there, and she's so cute." And you're like, why are you posting this on Twitter, dude?
And it's Japanese guy. And like in Japan, it's just like, yeah, man, they do that. It's just like,
yeah. So apparently the thing is that it only counts as prostitution if it involves vaginal penetration. So there's like this whole side market of like softcore, like stuff like that. And everybody in the comments was like, "Hey, your post got translated into English, and like it's going very viral." Like, FYI.
Oops.
It's like, I have no shame. He's just like some salary man at some Japanese corporation, like
known but the thousands of Americans. That's why man. You can't have kids, but you could be known by thousands of Americans as a Japanese guy who likes hand jobs. Like that's that's amazing. That is amazing.
I was like, well, like there's a lot of reasons I really want to go to Japan, like beautiful, like mountains and architecture, and go skiing. Like they have some of the best skiing on Earth.
Check out like the restaurants and like a little bit of the night scene. Like, nothing crazy, but like
you have to go with your partner.
Yeah,
because it's like it's gonna get this reputation like Thailand or something like
that's
that.
The thing.
Anytime I talk, like any guy that goes solo to Thailand, I'm just like, I know who you are.
I know who you are. I know what you are. I've thought about that because like I would love to go to Japan, but like if I go by myself to Japan, everyone's gonna be like, what are you really doing over there? And I'm just like, I actually also have a special reason that's unique to me, in the sense that my grandfather on my mom's side is essentially responsible for the Japanese model railroad community, because he was really into it. And he was stationed in Tokyo immediately after World War II, and was in charge of running General MacArthur's headquarters in Tokyo post-World War II. And he was a huge model train autist and essentially helped kind of rebuild the model train community in Japan after the war. When my grandfather passed away in like the 2010s, my mom received this massive bouquet of white flowers. It was literally like,
Oh,
it was this big. And it was from, I don't remember the guy's name. I could ask her and find out, but I also don't want to like dox this dude. But he runs the largest model railroading magazine company in Japan.
that's dope.
That's
Wow.
really dope. And I want to go
And then like, yeah, that'd be cool.
just because I'm like, hey, Dave, my grandfather, that was my grandfather. I'm his grandson. I would love to meet, like, if he's still around, I'd love to meet him just because, like, that was really cool. And I would I'd love to see how that would go to just be hanging out with like the Japanese model railroad community. That would be fucking dope. But if I tell people that, they'll
Like,
never believe me.
yeah,
Oh yeah,
it's specific
railroads,
enough
huh?
that you couldn't make it up.
It's too specific. It's too specific.
I would give you a pass.
Thank
That's
you.
fine.
Thank you. I appreciate that, but like I still when I think
It's just
about it,
like I have a buddy and he's like a really big skier and
mhm,
he's like I was going to Japan in winter
mhm.
and I went skiing and I'm like, yeah, that's
No, that's
totally
valid.
dope.
No, here's the
Like,
thing. If you know anything about skiing, you know Japan is a hotspot for skiing, especially in the winter.
yeah,
Like
yeah.
it's fantastic.
And
It's
like if you're a foodie or like
yeah.
there's a million reasons to go to Japan
If you're
is
just
what
a
I'm getting at.
weeb in general, like if you want to check out kimonos and samurai shit and you want to learn whatever, you want to like teach English, like there's so many things. But no, it's
It's
definitely
like
got that
hilarious
stigma.
like cuz there's like the equivalent would be like a Japanese person that was super obsessed with Scooby Doo
Yeah.
comes to tour the United States, and she
And
was
here's
just
the
like,
but that's the thing. If you met a Japanese tourist covered head to toe in Scooby Doo merchandise and he was just psyched because he was like I don't know, he's like, "Oh, this is like a zombie island." And you'd be like, "Oh shit, that's awesome, man." Yeah. Like, "Oh, there's a Scooby
"Oh,
Doo
this is like
museum."
when they went to the Old West resort." There was actually a Scooby Doo Westworld episode,
Yeah.
like before they made like Westworld. Like there was an animatronic Western resort,
Oh
and
shit.
in Scooby Doo, and they had to figure out if it was haunted or the robots were like sentient or not. It was
Oh.
like they obviously were they were cribbing from
Mm-hmm.
Arthur C. Clarke, whoever wrote the original story.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but like Westworld and that Scooby Doo episode and Blade Runner all come from like the same short story that was like
Mm-hmm.
written sometime in the 60s.
I wonder how many Japanese people actually go to Texas, like Arlington, Texas, and they're just like,
You know,
"I love a King of the Hill."
I wouldn't go like that's the thing. Like Japanese people don't know not to just go to Texas.
Yeah.
It's like don't go to Texas if it's your first time going to America.
Unless you're
Like
going
first
for
of all,
barbecue. Then it's like, okay. Like,
that's sort of fine, but you can get good barbecue kind of anywhere. You just gotta know where to find it. I know
mhm,
Texas is great barbecue,
mhm.
but like there's fuck all else to do in Texas. It's
There,
just a giant flat ass piece of shit with a bunch of like rolling nothing to see.
yeah.
I
Half of
honestly
it's
like
dry and the
you're
other
gonna spend
half
your
is
all
unbearably
of your
humid.
time is gonna be spent inside of air conditioned
Yeah.
buildings,
hmm
basically.
Yeah.
That's it.
It's like
Like
it's a
it's
less fun Florida. Like I've been there once. I don't need to go back. But I was
yeah.
also there was another tweet I saw from a Japanese person who's like, yeah, I went to Texas when I got off the airport, and the customs guy asked me why I was coming to Texas, and he goes, I'm here to like try a barbecue, and he says by the time he was done with his interview, he had 4 pamphlets from barbecue restaurants and a map with like a dozen restaurants circled and like numbered from like you got to go here next, then try this, then this is okay, like a list.
See, that's the thing, like, I would love to go and, like, try a few, like, really good Japanese restaurants, but
Mhm,
or, like, local cuisine or something,
mhm,
but at the same time, like, I'd also just like, a restaurant and food and people, uh, they're just recipes,
mhm,
you know,
mhm,
and they can be written and reproduced pretty much anywhere,
mhm.
you know,
As
that
long
you
as you
want. Like,
have,
there's some special cheese that has to get grown in a special cave because that's the only place that that mold lives. Okay, I get that. But, like, honestly, like, a nice barbecue joint anywhere in like, Utah or Colorado or Wyoming or Idaho would probably get the job done. The thing is, like, I was surprised to learn, like, in Japan, like the unavailability of meat, and particularly like large butchered meat like we have in the States.
I mean, that
I
makes
felt bad
sense.
for them.
That makes sense. I mean, where are they going to have the animals? Like, there's no room.
Well, that's the thing now. It's the population's tapering off.
We should,
It's rewilding. Like, yeah, just turn those villages into cattle farms. They have the best cattle on earth.
I
Like,
feel like what we should
they
start
should have
doing
the
is
best beef industry on earth.
we should start allowing for more Japanese immigrants and less immigrants from anywhere else. I think that's what we should start doing. Specifically because eventually, if you give the Japanese enough red meat, in a few generations, especially when they're like, mixing with like white Americans or Americans in general, you're going to create one hell of a superhuman. Like the Japanese alone, just getting regular access to red meat, I don't think we really prepared for that.
Yeah, we need to start a Japanese beef eugenics program.
Yeah.
It's did you know about the founder of McDonald's in Japan
Yes.
had this hypothesis?
I need to go look this quote up because yes, I know what you're talking about.
We're gonna Aryanize the Japanese via McDonald's beef. No, I think
the reason Japanese people are so short and have yellow skins is because they have eaten nothing but fish and rice for 2,000 years. If we eat McDonald's hamburgers and potatoes for 1,000 years, we will become taller, our skin will become white, and our hair blonde.
This is the ethnogenesis of all those blonde people you see in animes set in the far future. The Japanese people just ate McDonald's for 1,000 years.
Another thing I would actually love to do if I were to go to Japan is I would want to go to all of the American themed restaurants, like the Texas themed one or like a New York City themed one, and just be like, "Hey guys, I'm here. What's up?" And just see what happens. Because they'll be like, "You have to try this. You must try this dish. Is this good? Is this?"
No, they always want to show off. Like that's the thing when like I don't know. Have you been abroad much or at all?
I have never. The only time I've ever left the country was on a cruise to Cozumel and Costa Playa, and I don't really count that because they're resort communities. So no, not really.
Yeah, okay. So like when I was in France and stuff like that, like my host family was like, "Oh, we do like this one like burger joint in town. Like there's a burger joint in this like relatively small French town." And I'm like, "Okay, cool, let's go check it out." And they're like, they really wanted my professional American opinion on the burgers.
It's like Max is sitting, like there's like a table of 7 people, and they're all just like, Max is at the end of it, and he's like,
"No, they always want to show you." And like same thing happens. I would guarantee in Japan, like but it's just the beauty. Like we've torn down or we've rebuilt the Tower of Babel, and I think like auto translate is only going to get better.
I have a friend who has gone to Japan like a few times, and like she's told me that just like, yeah, like most people speak enough English to get by. If not, if they understand, like if you know
if you sprinkle in like a little Japanese, like hello and thank you,
you're good.
Please,
you're like literally all you have to do is not be loud in public and say please and thank you and excuse me, and like not take photos of people in public. That's another thing, unless they explicitly consent. You're good. Like they're also don't jaywalk. If you jaywalk, a man in a suit will materialize and tell you that the downfall of society begins with the individual. So don't jaywalk. But no, like she's just like, yeah, there was never a communication issue. Like if they didn't speak English or I didn't speak enough Japanese or there wasn't a translation service available there, like anything you needed to, you could translate on your phone and you were fine. So like for me, other than like the weird stigma that might come with me being a single white male traveling to Japan by myself, I don't know if I could deal with being on an airplane that fucking long. That's the thing.
It's rough.
It's like if you're not flying business, which is really expensive, it's rough. Even if you're flying business, it's rough. But like, I don't
Bring back
know.
Concorde.
Bring back the Concorde, man. I just like I gotta do it at some point because I know I can do
Although
it.
I didn't realize inflation adjusted Concorde tickets were $9,000 one way. I looked it up the other day.
Fuck it, man. If I can
And
fly to London or Japan in a couple hours, like instead it's what is it, 16? It's like a 16-hour flight to Japan.
16 to 18. Yeah, 18
Ah,
is like New Zealand. So
uh,
yeah. Yeah.
like here's the thing. Like I live
If
near a
you could cut
large
that
enough.
in half, like that's a big deal.
That's way tolerable. If I had to cut it in half with a
Here's
layover in the middle, golden. Like,
here's the thing is like if you know if you've got the time and the money and patience for it, like that's where like having a layover in like Alaska
mhm,
or something for just a couple days, like chill out, go see some glaciers or some bears or something like that, some northern
mhm.
lights, and then get to Japan like a few days later. Like then you just break it up. Also, you can do the time change a lot gradualer
I was
that
gonna
way.
say
Like,
that
oh, I'm gonna do 6 hours, and then I'm gonna do 6 hours.
instead of just
Yeah,
jumping 12, because that's a huge adjustment.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's like even just seven's really difficult. Like I just had this work conference with a bunch of Europeans, right?
Ugh.
And um they're fine. They're good
Mm.
people. Like, they're
Sorry.
coming from like 8 hours adjusted. And like some of them did not think to like have like a day or two before coming to
Oh
the
no.
States.
Always got to do that.
And
Always got to have a
and
buffer.
then like they're immediately in from like 8 in the morning to like basically midnight doing stuff.
Mm,
And they were just haggard.
mm.
I I was kind of it was like a one of those experiments that they would run on prisoners of war. You could just see the bags under their eyes like going like all the way to their cheeks down
Oh.
and stuff. They
Uh,
were like, I'm wasted right now. I just can't hack it. Like
uh,
go sleep. Don't drive.
yeah, no.
Like
But yeah, man, like I either figured Japan or, well, we can keep going off on tangents all night. I just realized we're like almost an hour and a half into this.
yeah.
But I gotta go to Europe at least once before it becomes a complete communist shithole.
Yeah, I'm curious because I see tons of negative things online, but
Yeah,
obviously, like, he, it's that's you just see the worst of it. It's not like it's that everywhere. Like,
exactly.
it's a frog begetting boiled situation where
Hmm.
you know 80 85% of people are living totally normal lives all the time.
Hmm.
So
Until they're
now
not.
I will say, like, until they're not, yeah. But like, I mean, there's particular bad situations where like London or Paris like aren't very nice in very certain parts.
Mm.
But at, okay, my experience, which was going on 10 years ago, right? Like, yeah, there were no-go zones for, especially if you're a tourist.
Yeah,
Like, you don't. There's not really much to see there, anyways. But at the same time, it's also like, even if you're at like one of the major tourist locations, like it happened with the Olympics, like
mm.
Americans uh were had to be discouraged from getting into fights with pickpockets.
Which I
Because like the
found
European thing is to
hilarious. Let it
just to let
happen.
it go, but
Yeah,
like Americans kept beating the shit out of pickpockets while they were at the Olympics. And
good.
the police are like, we would you need to not do that. That's not
They're
the way we
taking
do
my
it here in
shit. Well,
Europe.
that's
And it's
not how
like,
we do it. It's like, all right, well, maybe you should.
listen, dude, you're standing over there with a fucking FAMAS
Yeah,
and just watching this person like weave through the crowd and like pull off like jewelry and watches and shit like that. And um like, yeah, you just do nothing. But oh, when I punch them in the face when they're put their hands on me, like it's my fault. Okay.
okay. Yeah. Welcome to Europe.
Anarcho tyranny.
Yeah, exactly. Well, Mr. Max, is there anything else you want to cover? Any thoughts you got? Closing on anything?
No, we'll try again next week. I don't know if you're.
So no, I can't. Next week is not going to work because next week I have extended hours for Mother's Day, and Wednesday specifically,
That's right.
I'm leaving for work at 8:30, and I'm not getting home till 8:30. So it's a 12-hour day for me essentially. Yeah, it's going to be.
That's how. That's going to be harrowing.
It is.
Sorry.
No, it's okay. Thankfully, I'm off Thursday, but it's just it's going to be a long week, and I'm just unfortunately we'll have to reconvene. Yeah, we'll reconvene the week after Mother's Day, guys. So this is me officially telling you all not to forget about Mother's Day. Now, whatever you have planned to do for your mother, if you need to buy something, do it now. Do it now. Do it before Saturday. You will feel so much better knowing it's taken care of because everybody, the bulk of it, will start not actually Monday, Tuesday. Monday, everyone's going to go, yeah, I still got the rest of the week. Tuesday is when the shit will hit the fan.
Yeah.
So get it in now. But other than that, ladies and gentlemen, we hope you stay safe out there. We hope the price of gas comes down. I would also ask you guys, excuse me, there's more important things going on. People who could definitely use them more. They're in more dire situations. If y'all could keep me in your thoughts, maybe utter a prayer or two to help me get the fuck out of the current job I'm in into something better that pays at least as much as I'm making now that would be so nice. And I know that's a road, especially with how the job market is, but I think I'll be okay. But either way, keep me in your thoughts, if you could, as I think about all of you. Ladies and gentlemen, we hope you stay safe. Like I said, we hope gas prices come down. We hope not too much happens over the next week, which, we'll see. We are the Anti-Happening podcast, and we are regularly scheduled.
Did we miss last week and then somebody tried to assassinate?
No, we did do an episode.
So, but the assassination attempt was not successful because we had the podcast.
Exactly. So if we were not,
everybody keeps their head low for the
exactly.
Next weeks here.
I would also this Friday, May 1st, I would probably, be careful. It's May Day. The communists are going to get all riled up. And then you've got Cinco de Mayo on Tuesday next week, which that'll be a good time. I've already got some Modelo's.
Is the Taco Tuesday on top of Cinco de Mayo?
Are you
shitting me?
That's like 420 on Easter, man. Like that's. All right, ladies and gentlemen, have a good rest of your night. And as always, taxation is theft.